Here's a little introduction video, just a real quick one about why Ms. Singers and Mr. Swan are flipping, what's called flipping our classes. In a traditional kind of classroom setting, a lot of the class time is based on a teacher, the yellow person here, is in the front of the room for some or most of the class time, and the students are listening and learning, and there may be other things going on too, but the homework involves the student all alone with doing some practice or extra learning. In the flipped setup, that process is actually flipped, as you see here. The teacher is there in the home type setting, and the sort of lecture information is coming to the student as homework. And in class, the students can be more active, can be doing different things, and the teacher's still there, of course, but has a very different kind of function. So when we flip, now homework looks like a video-based lesson focused on learning the basics of a topic, and some of those regular homework kind of questions don't end up happening because the homework assignment is very easy to predict, pretty much the same each time, at least the type of homework. And the teacher's there, can be paused, can be replayed. In class, we have lots of options. Students can be working on long-term projects or some other kind of activity. The teacher can be moving around and assessing, checking how students are understanding the topic. We can intervene with her students who need it. We can make deeper challenges, challenge students who are ready for that kind of thing. And we can really facilitate any kind of activity in the classroom, knowing that the students have that understanding of the basics, and that if they didn't, then we can intervene and send them back to watch that video again. So these kinds of questions that teachers might have in a more traditional kind of setting just don't really happen for us, and it's really freed us up to be able to do a lot more and to serve our students a lot better than we could before. If a student's absent, they miss that in-class activity, but we can catch up on that, but definitely the basics are still getting addressed outside of the classroom. Some things we wondered about were just how this was working for our students. We did this for the past 2 years. So from a survey last year, when asked how this compared with traditional systems, none of the students reported that it was worse, that they wanted to go back to earlier ways. Some were a bit critical, had some way it was better in a few ways, but they had some constructive critiques for me, for us. And some people didn't seem to really care, but we had a 77% preference rate. Folks who thought it was either better or really totally preferred this system. 77% is a pretty good number. So it seems to be successful that way. Another thing we wondered, and you might too, was tech access a problem? And as you see, the largest number here is in the 7 range, how easily, again, more than half said it was really not a problem. Then you had 1 out of 3 said, well, there was like maybe a little bit of a kind of a problem. But again, nobody down in the 1s and the 2s. A few folks here who had some off and on kind of trouble being able to see, but it seems to work pretty well for our community. And we have definitely ways to address and to help those folks who are in this sort of 3 and 4 category. No one's going to get left behind. Finally, when we asked how students usually watch them, by far the most popular option was on a computer at home, but some kids were using cell phones on a regular basis. Other folks were using computers. The other tended to be something like an iPad or a tablet rather than computer, or it would vary. That's what they were saying. So again, more than 10% had multiple ways to view. And again, when asked, were they putting all this together, how is it going being able to watch them? We have almost 90%, at least most of the time, and many of them were able to do this always, because we're giving either 2 nights or sometimes even 3 nights to be able to watch these. It's not due the next day. So that's another way we've been able to make this work, and the data seem to really be supporting that. And what we're able to do in the classroom really seems to help us be much better teachers and our students to do even more learning, and an even better at-home kind of connection as well, because you can be watching these videos as well. Anyone at home, parents, tutors, and so on, could also be watching these videos.